on the YouTube there.
Okay.
Boom. We are live. Okay, now I'll find it over here. Okay, people, we are a bit late. If there are already people joining us, we're on a different time, but I'm just going to find us. We're going to be here somewhere. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you find us? Did you find us?
I see you. Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as people come in, the live chat will get going. It'll start alerting the followers or whatnot. I'm not sure how it works, but
Okay.
we can get started because this is taping, and we will also have it for afterwards. So people, if they miss the live show, they can watch it afterwards as well. I'll also probably video record a little clip so that I can use it on Instagram. I'll tag you in it. That way you can use it if you want to. But, we got 12 people in here now. Let's see. I'm just going to say hello. So this is a little different than Instagram where you can't see every single person that comes in. So there's gonna be people in the background just hanging out, which is kind of fun because then at the end of this, you'll see there's way more than what it seems.
Okay.
But let's do some introductions. So we are the two women in weed for today's show. I am Miss Newty Grows, and this is Cheap Home Grow Nation. Welcome to Cheap Home Grow Nation. And what we have with us, Grow. So why don't you introduce us? Use whatever name you like and your real name. I didn't want to out you just in case, but
that's okay.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm completely legal. Everything's good. My name is Caroline James. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing for Dyna-Gro. Dyna-Gro is a hydroponic nutrient company based out of California. We've been around for approximately 40 years. We got our start up in Humboldt, the Emerald Triangle, a bunch of weed growers up there doing what weed growers do, growing trees, big trees. They used to, when harvest came, they used a chainsaw. So really big stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's the shit I want to see.
Early 80s, completely not legal. But they, you know what? They were entrepreneurs, and you got to give them credit for that. And so they decided they wanted to replicate Mother Nature and grow indoors. This was pretty much at the beginning of the hydroponic indoor growing movement. And they hired this genius guy who helped them come up with a formula to, to have all-in-one nutrient. Now we don't call it a fertilizer. Fertilizers are missing a lot of nutrients for plants, but they came up with a nutrient that the plants really responded to, and they gave them all 16 macro and micronutrients in one liquid form, which was unheard of back then completely, and thus was the beginning of Dyna-Gro. So yeah, my former boss, his name was Dave Neal, or his name is Dave Neal, and yeah, he had a giant grow in San Francisco in a warehouse nobody knew about.
That's pretty cool. That's the stuff that, the Wild West, man. That stuff is so intriguing.
It's like
me.
Breaking Bad. It's like Breaking Bad meets Humboldt. You know what I mean? Because he was a lawyer. He was an IRS lawyer, but growing weed and doing a really good job of it. He had some wild stories, that's for sure. So yeah, and then I used to have my own company called Big Mango, and I did branding and marketing for anybody and everybody who was interested, all different types of businesses, whether it was hairdressing or home improvement or real estate or motorcycles. And then I had this one client called Dyna-Gro, and I did a lot of their advertising and I did their website. And then about 3 years ago, it'll be 3 years ago next month, they came to me and said, we need a new director of sales and marketing, and would you be interested? And I was pretty burnt on on Big Mango. I had been doing it for about two decades. I had, close to 300 websites under my belt because I'm a web designer, web programmer. and did, all things graphic design, all things, multimedia. I was a true multimedia artist. I have a degree in multimedia before it was called multimedia. I actually
Wow.
have a degree. It's this big word, big name that sounds really ostentatious. It's conceptual design and computer applications to conceptual design. That was in 1989. So Tim Berners-Lee just started the web when I graduated from college with my degree. And in fact, I remember our senior year, my instructor took us over to the media center, the computer media center, and said, "Hey, check this out." And it was the very first World Wide Web. And we were all like, yeah, it was so clunky. It was so clunky.
I can't even imagine.
I know. And then fast forward less than 10 years later, I'm doing interfaces for the web and websites. And so I was, back then, GUI or GI, graphic interface, graphical user interfaces was a new word. People didn't know what it meant. And I was super good at it. I just understood it. I have one of those minds that understands art because I'm an artist. I have my degree is in fine art. And I understand computers and math and science. I love math. I'm a math freak.
That sounds like a very rare tornado of awesomeness, because usually you're one or the other, not both. I am on the art side, math in me. Like, I love when I understand it, but takes a minute.
I don't know how awesome it is, but it just is. It
is.
Vortex. I have a lot of interests. I'm a former mountain bike racer. I'm a motorcyclist. I speak a few different languages because I'm an Army brat and I lived overseas for a while and learned how to learn languages at a young age. I mean, as a Canadian, did you learn French?
Yeah, so we learned enough to speak it, but it's very Canadian French. It's not the correct, I wouldn't say correct French. There's a lot of slang, but I could get by. Now I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. But you could, if you sat in a movie theater or if you sat and watched something with subtitles or, with listening to it, your brain remembers it. It goes back in and starts to remember. That's what I found.
That's neat. Anyway, I should pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. But okay. So I got approached by Dyna-Gro 3 years ago. I had just started my own grow because California just became legal. And I've always loved to smoke weed. I prefer weed over drinking big time. Mm-hmm. And also my birthday happens to be 420.
Oh, yes. I knew this about you because my bestie has the same birthday as you. Yeah, 420.
Right?
It's just in you.
Yeah, I guess. But you know what? My first grow was so pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I grew White Widow autos, and my boss came over during the interview process to just see what I was doing. And he was just like this. He was like, "Oh God." He couldn't even look at them. They were so terrible. But you know what? I was just learning just like everybody else, from what we could learn from. And I didn't have anybody.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Yeah, there was nothing even 5 years ago on the internet. Like, people are so secretive.
Yeah. And there was just absolutely no one. I live in Marin County. I know weed growers, but it's just getting people to really open up about how to grow mm-hmm. this in a really good way was difficult. Mm-hmm. But I didn't care. I was bored and done with Big Mango. So I just jumped in with both feet. And I have to tell you that I don't own a house plant. Like, I am not, I started learning 3 years ago from zero, mm-hmm. and jumped in full force and just watched all the videos I could. And, just tried, I considered it another language. So I immersed myself. And even when I wasn't working, I was just watching YouTube and I was reading and I would listen to mm-hmm. podcasts on the way to work, which was sometimes an hour commute. So, and then I had to start going to trade shows, and I am an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. So mm-hmm. I spend huge amounts of time alone. And, but, I had to all of a sudden perform in these trade shows for people with these products and be on. And that was so hard. Oh my gosh. And I would be so nervous and I couldn't eat. And I would just be like, you know, and now it's like, oh yeah, you want to, you know, it's just, I just do it, you know, and it's just easier. But the live thing is a new thing. You know, I've been home now for almost
you've been
a full
rocking
year.
it though. Every day I come on and there's like new videos from you. Your content, I can't even keep up with all of it. Congratulations. Like that's one of the harder things to do for me, is to just put it out there, put it out there, put it out there. And that's how you do it. You just put it out there.
Yeah. And then having accountability with your plants. So you have people who knew a week ago you were at week 2 in flower. So you better be in week 3 at flower, and your girls better be showing it. Right. And then if you have any problems, you know, show it, because everybody has problems. Even the totally experienced people, something will happen.
All day long problems. It's how we learn though.
Yeah. So I am now I believe this is my 6th grow. So I do 2 grows a year. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is my 5th grow. And I'll do 1 indoors and then 1 starting in the indoors and then outdoors. So I'll do a winter grow starting seeds in early November. And then I will do a spring summer grow starting seeds in late February. So I'm coming up on popping seeds, and I do seeds rather than clones. This is the first year I've ever done clones, and I'll get to that in a second. But I do seeds because of the taproot, and because where I live, it can get hella windy, and you need that strength for the plant. And last year was a great harvest. I harvested. I had 6-foot trees that I had manicured and had babied the hell out of. And where
do you grow these? Outside in your yard, or?
Yeah, I happen to live in an area where I'm isolated. I don't have any neighbors that can see my yard at all. Yeah. And so I live on, you know, some property, and then I'm surrounded by open space. And so I'm very protected, and nobody can see my yard. So I do the legal limit, and don't go one plant over that. And then I use them for marketing. So mostly, because I'm born on 420, everybody gives me weed. I don't need weed. I don't even need to grow weed. But for marketing purposes, when I showed up at Dyna-Gro, they used all stock imagery for all of their marketing. So who knows if that plant was grown with Dyna-Gro, right? And I felt like that was misleading to the public in a huge way. So I said, okay, from now on, we only use plants grown by Dyna-Gro, period. So Dyna-Grown. So, you know, I'm a photographer. I've been doing photography for 35 years, and I have a nice, you know, all really nice equipment and everything, backdrops, all of that. So I started doing bud photography and bud porn, and I really enjoy it. I really love taking pictures of cannabis and getting in there. You know, there's some really great photographers on the web that just blow my mind. Absolutely. You know, they're so inspiring, and my mind is drawing a blank right now because I'm on the spot, but it'll rise up like a bubble. I know. Yeah. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, eh?
Yeah.
That's good. You have a lot of different things encompassing you that I see, like just that have such value to this world. So I appreciate you sharing, you know, your journey and how you've gotten here so far. I'm going to ask you some questions.
Oh, sweet.
Awesome. Actually, what I would like to say first is we were having a little bit of technical difficulties, or I was having some technical difficulties at the beginning, and I honestly can't see the chat for whatever reason. It's not letting me talk to the chat or speak to the chat. So I'm apologizing to the chat in advance. I'm not sure if I can. I'm just going to have a little lull here for a minute while I sneak over to YouTube and see.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
Something. It's something to
Live
do with my
chat.
browser. So we'll see what happens. It's recording, it's live, it's happening. I'll respond to the chat after, I guess. I'm so sorry, chat. I love you, chat. I just can't see you right now, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
there's error in sending the messages. I just did a test.
Oh, okay, so you
Uh,
did too. Yeah, that's the same thing I'm getting as well. So we'll just we'll see what happens here. I'm enjoying this conversation, if anything else. We're
okay,
getting to know each other. A couple ladies here.
right on, right on.
I wanted to kind of talk to your experience about being a woman in the weed world. So you are in what I think of as a Canadian over here, like the depths of the weed world. Like in California,
Right. Yes.
especially being like kind of like the face behind a nutrient company. Me myself, I assumed you were a man. When we were first communicating, until you told me you were a lady of weed, and that really, really, really excited me. So, like, how is that
Yeah.
experience? Like, you must get like dudes and, hey, dude, like, can I get some free Dyna-Gro? Like, like, hey, dude.
Yeah. Hey, bro. A lot of hey, bro. And you know what? Yeah. So, I'm a woman over 50. So I don't get, people, you're marginalized. Like we grow up as women getting objectified, and then you hit a certain age and then you're literally just pushed to the side and you're not seen. And that's just the way it is. But I figure, I'm just going to focus on myself, focus on my knowledge, help people, and try not to make it an issue. When I first started, growers would not even look at me. And the trade show booth that we had was terrible. It looked like a 10th grade science fair show experience. It was just like stuff stuck to the panels with Velcro and just mishmash everywhere. I'm a designer. I'm all about branding and cohesiveness. So after my first grow, no, actually, it was my second grow. My second grow that my fellow salesperson Griselda and I did together. So I vegged it and she flowered it. I took that and it was beautiful, and I photographed it and I blew it up to a really big backdrop, 10x8 with and backlit, and this giant beautiful bud. And that became our trade show booth. And I redesigned everything to pull in at the trade shows, we would hand out a lot of 8-ounce samples, and people would be like, wow, is this the only size you have? So I created a rolling PowerPoint on a big screen. And then I used a stand. I made a stand out of a 55-gallon drum, kept a sticker on it. And then I had, just a lot of indications that pointed to the fact that we are a big company. Well, we're large. We do large amounts of volume of nutrients. So if you want a 275-gallon tote, a 55-gallon, a 15, a 5, a 1, a 32-ounce, an 8-ounce, that's the line standing there in front of a starter kit and say, yeah, I grew that with this. And then they would stop. Mm-hmm. What? Really? You? And then they, because I don't look like a grower, I don't have my flannel on and my flat bill and my backpack and my, my hiking boots. Right. So, that's how I would get attention. And I remember I was at this one show in Canada, and man, nobody would give me the time of day. And actually it was an independent garden show. It was for Eddie's Wholesale. And there was like one other cannabis person there, and I won't call him out, but I like him. He's awesome. He's super cool. He wouldn't give me the time of day. So I took a photo of another photo of the bud that I had grown, and it was on an 8x10. I just walked up to him and I just gave it to him. I said, this is what I do. What do you do? Put him on the spot. He was just like, wait. And he looked at it. He's like, you grew this? I'm like, yeah. What do you do? He's like, oh yeah, and then we started talking, and now we're friends, which is awesome. But you're not taken seriously, and you really have to break through that and try to be on one hand, you can't be too forceful. You have to be feminine, otherwise you're labeled. And then on the other hand, I mean, you have to throw your hat in the ring harder than anybody, because otherwise you're just not going to get noticed at all. I try to have total integrity about the product. You know, there's things about our system that I don't like, I don't agree with, but I can't do anything about it because I am an employee. But I'm honest, you know, I feel like the feed chart has way too much in it. But I can't do anything about that because this is what my boss wanted. But I tell growers, hey, you monitor your plants, watch your plants. If you're seeing too much, if your tips are turning, back it off to 70%. You know, check your ppms always. This is a reference. If you, you know, if you're going to grow, the first most important thing is that you have to dedicate yourself to be present with your plants. It's just not a set it and forget it. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely. You know? Yeah.
So yeah, it's always a challenge. I've been told many times, growers do not take women seriously. They will never take women seriously. You are a joke to them. I have been trolled several times by men who are hoping to get with me, and then I'm like, that ain't happening, and then they flip and get mean and negative.
And then you're like, a lesbian or a dyke or a bitch, or that's what I've gotten anyways.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just they question my anything. You know, everybody has. I don't care how long you've been growing. There's no such thing as a perfect grow. You know, you always you know, these guys need a hair trim so bad, and I'll get in there today and do some trimming. You know, but like, you know, it's just. If you are a negative person and you're looking for negativity, you're going to find it. You know, I'd rather focus on positive and bringing growers up and, you know, encouraging them. You know, let's think about this. In the United States, we have 35 states that are legal medicinally, right? And 13 that are legal recreationally. That means that there's a lot of states out there with thousands and millions of people who have no idea how to grow. Hey, this is a great opportunity to teach people how to grow. One of the things that's interesting I found was that I now want to grow things. And so I coined this phrase, which is cannabis is a gateway drug to gardening.
It is.
I find that, and sometimes I'll post that. Sometimes I'll post it and people will be like, oh man, this is so true. I don't even grow cannabis anymore. I'm doing my squash and my zucchini and my tomatoes. Oh, and I did these roses this year. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's crazy. You know, so I feel like it's just this great opportunity for people to get outside of themselves, to learn more about biology and chemistry. You know, I've learned so much about applying chemistry to biology and how things grow and change. Yeah, so, but being a woman in this industry, it's like being a woman, period, in this world. You know, we're marginalized. That's just the way it is. And I feel like, you know, just if you look at it and go, hey, that's just the way it is, but I'm just going to keep being me and I'm not going to be affected by that. And I'm going to use this as always an opportunity to bring other women up, teach other women how to grow. You know, women are catty bitches, you know, and I'm like, hey, you know what? You can take that shit and get the hell out of my life. You know, I want to be supportive to people. I just don't care. You know, you want to bring me your, you know, problem about so-and-so. Yeah. My name is Paul and that's between y'all. You know,
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to use that. It does,
yeah. Lot, you know, because of who I am online, and I'm whatever. I mean, I don't have an ego about it at all. This is my job. This is what I do. If I was fired tomorrow, I'd say, I love you guys. I'm just going to go off and grow. And if you want to reach out, great.
I still want to come be your friend.
Right on. Excellent. No, I think it's great, but I'm by nature, I'm not into social media by nature. I don't even post on my own. You know, I have my own Instagram that I don't post on, and Facebook and things like that. But, you know, some people like to bring me into their drama, and I'm learning the hard way. yeah, you know what, that's your drama between you and this person, you know, and you know, I don't want to have anything to do with it. You're a grown up. My kids are
Handle it.
teenagers,
Yeah.
and I will help them. But at the end of the day, my biggest advice to anybody in the drama of Instagram and weed, and there's a lot of it, is, you
For
know,
sure.
what it's like the 4 agreements. The first agreement is don't take anything personally, period. This is not about you. Boom. You know, and then you just got to let it roll off of you like water off a duck's back. You just, and go about your day. Whatever.
That's how you make it through. Don't take shit personally. Absolutely.
No,
Social media is very hard to navigate. I'm an older person. I'm 42 and I have an older daughter, 22. I want to touch on that now that you've mentioned your kids. But I had a very hard time at the beginning. I've only gotten onto social media probably 2-3 years ago, I guess now. And yeah, I'm like very active in it now, but I was literally taught by my daughter because I had no idea how to navigate this. And with all the extra anonymity that's online and the bullying and like you said, the cattiness, the drama in the cannabis industry, Canadian and American and worldwide. So it's just been so interesting. But yes, no drama llama over here. Like, I want to lift people up. That's what I respect about you as a woman. And secondly, as, like I said, the face of a nutrient company, your honesty is unheard of, first of all. And I really respect that about you. I have used Dyna-Gro. I swear by Dyna-Gro. If I could get Dyna-Gro in my little hands, I would.
Yeah.
But
so
it's
the
just
thing
not.
The thing about Canada is that there's certain rules that you have to have 5 years of testing under your belt for your nutrients and supplements. We don't have that. We're working on it. We were recently acquired by a very large company, a distribution company called Central Garden and Pet. And you know, we're actually seeing an infusion of capital into our company, which allows us to increase our own production and also be able to get us into other markets, like the independent garden centers, the big box stores, things like that. You know, they're really pushing us hard to get in there. I go into a lot of grow shops or I go online, and a lot of companies, a lot of businesses don't carry Dyna-Gro. I have to say that the 2 big distributors out there, Hawthorne and Hydrofarm, they have their own brands. And you know what? That's the nature of capitalism, is making money. And they're going to make sure that whatever store is carrying their full line, there's incentives there. Okay. You're going to get a break on price, a break on shipping. You're going to get free stuff, free employees, whatever. Yeah, that's just the way of the world. So Dyna-Gro doesn't have that. We're, up until recently, we were a company of 12 people. So, you know, it's not huge at all. Very small, very much a skeleton crew, but that hopefully will change.
I have a good feeling about that.
I have ideas for new products. I hope that my bosses will take me seriously, even though I don't have a degree in agronomy or horticulture, but I see a need in the market for certain products that it just blows my mind that they're not out there, you know. But yeah. And now I started cloning. I've never cloned before. So here's the thing about transparency.
I was watching a little bit of your video. I was cloning it. Like I think I got inspired by your cloning video, because I went off and I was like, fuck it, I better go do my cloning. So yeah, let's talk about cloning.
Yeah. So you know what? This growing process, it's linear. It's time-based. You can't just decide one day, oh, I'm going to clone. No, you need to have some moms that were set aside and are continuing, are getting that 16, you know, hour window, photo period of growth, or 18, or whatever you do. And also giving it the nutrients where there's enough in there so that if you hack off some branches, it's not going to fully freak out, you know?
Right.
And I'm learning that. So with this grow, I set those girls aside, you know. It's kind of a bummer because I try to save energy by putting them into the flower tent for the 12 hours that the flower tent is up and running. and then sticking them in their own tent for the remainder. And then in the morning coming in and bringing them back in. It's a pain. It's a total pain. And I can't
Absolutely.
sleep in. I can't sleep in. I have to, get my ass down to the garage and stuff. So then I start doing these clones. So I've never cloned. So I read and watched videos and asked and And it's like, okay, here we go. Time, it's time for, to do this, and got started. And there's many ways to clone, many ways, and a lot of people offered up a lot of advice on the first video I did, and I took it. And with the second one yesterday, I did a totally different thing. I used root gel instead of KLN and Protec, and I only clipped about 60-70% of the leaves. I tried this new technique where you're marring the surface just a little bit above where you cut the 45 to allow more opportunity for root growth. They're sitting in the tent next door right now with a T5, and I don't hear the heater going on. It's not that cold in here, but hopefully they're above 72. They're no more. I'm trying to keep them in the mid 70s, right? So, and I got a little dongle. What do you call it? A humidity temperature sensor that I Bluetooth to my phone. That I Bluetooth to my phone. So I don't have to open up the tent and then open up and then all the heat goes out. I can just see what's going on there. So we'll see. I mean, it's I'm just praying they don't all die because I'll be on camera saying, well, I failed everybody.
And you know what? That's another thing I respect about you and other growers. There's many of us out there that also show the bad with the good, because you know what? Sometimes things die.
Right.
Recently, I'll talk about a fail. I had Candida. I lost that genetic in my tent. My award-winning CBD. Yes. So I was on the lookout for somebody. I give out clones all the time to help people, to teach people. So I'm like, there's Candida out there. Right. Alert. And so I found somebody who was just harvesting the Candida. So I'm like, okay, re-veg, let's do this. I can do it. So from Edmonton to me in the rural sticks, it's about 3 hours in minus 25. Didn't think to tell them to wrap it up or anything. My bad, because they don't know. Plant gets to me dead on arrival, basically, because of the cold weather. So there were still a few little sprouts that, I mean, I got some of the harvest too, which was really cool. I got to try their harvest, but unfortunately you have to decide within a couple days whether you want to keep that in your tent and possibly risk mold, or take it out and let it go. So I had to let it go. So yeah, I pumped up the crowd in my stories about re-veg, and then it died.
Yep, I know. Yeah. And it's understanding the plant, understanding that you're dealing with a very sensitive living thing is something you got to really wrap your head around, something that needs to be paid attention to. I think my third grow, I was growing indoors, and I was out of town at a trade show, and I had a canna sitter, and I was very, I mixed up everything. I had it ready to go. This was an indoor grow. They were just starting bloom, and I said, okay, you can feed them now. And there was a 1 gallon bottle of Foliage Pro, sitting next to everything. But then there was a 3 gallon everything mix that was sitting there too. Yeah. They poured that entire undiluted bottle of Foliage Pro into my plants. Yeah, that was a write-off. And that was, getting people, and the guy was just a stoner.
Oh yeah, we can talk about this, girl. I've said there's a market out there for weed babysitters, good skilled weed babysitters.
Yeah,
because every single time I left my plants, even with my friends that know how to grow weed, I come back to fucking death or shit. So I don't leave.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, it is a commitment for sure. Luckily, luckily now we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we're
I
home all
know,
the
it's
time.
perfect. It's perfect for that. I've been training for this
God.
isolation. Like you said, I'm an introvert too. I live far away from people on purpose. And
Yeah.
I like my space. I can be extroverted when I need to, but just like you, it takes so much out of me. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
thank you, pandemic, giving
Yeah.
us all a break. Let's be grateful for a minute.
Where I
We
live,
can be grouchy and mean and horrible about it, but we can also be a little bit grateful because I'm sure there's people learning how to grow right now.
there's a lot of people who are learning to do a lot of things, learning how to be with
Mm-hmm.
themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then learning, like, okay, well, I guess I should focus on this area of my life that I've been neglecting all this time. A lot of people out there
Yes.
who are getting fit and learning new trades and things like that. Where I live, it is truly the apex, the center of the COVID thing going on, and my county has been locked down hard for months at a time. We are the last ones to be able to. Okay, now you can do dining outdoors. Or forget the whole mask thing. I've been wearing a mask forever, but
Yeah, me too.
when I do travel, and I have traveled, I went camping in Wyoming, and in Jackson Hole, a few people were wearing masks, but I mean, in Jackson Hole, in a week, maybe one person would die, but in California, thousands would die. So we're at that time in August, I think we were up to maybe 400 would die a week or something. But
Wow.
but it was just interesting to be out in an area where they didn't have it, and they weren't worried about it. And it was like, I would look around going, oh my God, they're not wearing masks. What's wrong
That's
with these people?
crazy. Yeah,
It's like, look, they
totally. You
have
get so used
one
to it
person
now.
died. One person died last week here in Wyoming, so,
Yeah.
different
I
thing
can
for sure.
honestly say too, like here where I am, we at our maximum over Christmas time, we're in lockdown too, but not for like big outbreaks. We're in just like Canadian lockdown, I guess. But
Yeah.
we had 12 people. That was the max. Nobody died. Everyone got better. And now we're down to 0. So and we're masked up and we're totally like, I couldn't imagine going to the city here where there's 7,000 cases, probably only compared to what you have, is like, I get freaked out by it. So I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, it gets, when I do get lonely, cause I'm alone a lot. I'll go see my kids occasionally, hang out with them, but I'll go out to dinner, and that means going and picking up some to go. And then I will sit in the parking lot somewhere just to be around people, but I'll be in my little bubble of my little car, and everybody's in their little bubble, but I have my mask off and I'm eating, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm around people. It's just so bizarre. And when everything opens up, it's going to be, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a big party. People are just going to be so happy to be around people. Hopefully, people will be more conscious of other people and patient and things. And, because you realize, you realize what you don't have, which is the ability to just, go hang out with some friends. Can't do it here.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's taken for granted. Even people like me that say I love being alone, I still get lonely and I still want to be around people. And it sucks that you can't. And the control is just kind of taken away.
I was completely alone on Christmas. Completely.
It's strange, right?
That was difficult. That wasn't easy. But whatever. Anyway. Well, how about your grow? Can you tell me a little? I don't know a whole lot about you, and I know this is your show and people know more about you, but you work at
you know what? I'm not going to give away. I do. I'm not going to give away too much because I have an upcoming episode where I have a friend interview me for my show.
Oh, that's great.
I've been on a few different podcasts before, so I have told my story. It's kind of buried. So I thought it's time to do a redo. But right now, I'm a busy lady always. Like you said, I get that socialization right now because I get to go to work every day. And I do feel grateful. I miss going to work. I'm on my days off and I'm a weirdo that's like, hey, got to get back there. But it's a small place. So there's I'm the production coordinator. And there's probably only in production, including irrigation, I'd say about 12 of us. So it's really a small place, which I love. We don't grow craft cannabis, but we grow craft quality. So our rooms are large and in charge, 3-tier vertical growing. The rooms are huge. We grow big batches, so wouldn't qualify as craft, but because of the care and the passion that this team has, the quality comes out as craft, which is pretty cool. So right now I'm running like nutrition and task stuff. So pruning strategies, doing strain by strain. We're a new company, so we're learning each strain individually. So we can provide it with the best care possible. We do some organics and some minerals. We use Greenhouse Seeds right now. Greenhouse Seeds Feeding Company, I think is the full name, which is a popular one in the UK, and it works pretty well for what we have. It's kind of what I came in on. Our rooms are, because they're vertical, I want to say 2,000 square feet.
So is it 6,000 total?
It's 50 total.
50,000?
Yeah. For the whole.
You said you had 6,000. And I thought you had 3-tier.
Yeah, 3-tier. So 10 production rooms. And we can fit 900 plants in one room.
Okay, that's great.
300 a level. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, I so wish I could visit. Oh, I love visiting cultivation facilities.
Yeah, when you can come out here, I will arrange a tour for you as soon as possible. As soon as COVID allows traveling again, I want to get out to the States too. Yeah, I'm used to traveling. I go to the States once a year usually. It's weird.
How far are you from Banff?
Oh, I'm an hour and a half.
So Banff is my favorite place probably in the universe. I love Banff so much.
Yeah.
I did a huge.
I live it. It's in my backyard.
I know, you're so lucky. I mean, so I'm coming, girl. I'm coming. Yeah. I love Banff so much.
Yeah, you're coming. I felt it already. we're gonna be lifelong friends. So you're stuck with me already.
I'll rent a mountain bike when I'm up there. Get radical
and we can go motorcycling. We both motorcycle.
I motorcycle, yeah. What kind of motorcycle do you
bikes. Right now, I have a Suzuki Velocia. It's a 2004. It's like a little Honda Shadow, I guess, but Suzuki.
Right on. How
800
many cc is that?
800. Like 800? Yeah, it's a nice little one. It gets a little punch.
I have a BMW R850R. So,
yeah. You speed. You take me for a zip.
Well, you said how many cc's is yours?
800.
So mine's 850. It's not much more.
Oh, okay. Yours is in a different shape, more speed.
No, well, it's a BMW, so it's a touring, but it's a BMW.
Oh, okay. I was imagining something different in my head. I was imagining you on like a fast little rocket.
I go fast on it. I love the turns, I love the turns. 100%. Oh, that's crazy that you do that. That's so cool. Right on. Mm-hmm. I have to tell you my first company. Do I have a few minutes?
Of course you do. Yeah. We have all the time we want.
So I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had several businesses, and this is honestly the longest I've ever worked for somebody in my entire adult life, the 3 years that I've been at Dyna-Gro. But my first company was called Psychedelics, and I painted bicycle frames, custom bicycle frames and non-custom ones. And I did these really cool paint jobs, beautiful, using all kinds of different techniques like nobody's ever done ever. So Psychedelics, yeah. So that's you can really see where my brain was way back then, like when I was 20. That was, I had a spray booth in an auto body shop. And, I was using Imron, which is a polyisocyanate 2-stage. It'll just freaking kill you. But that was a lot of fun. So, the whole riding and everything of being on 2 wheels, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. I've always been a bit of a risk junkie, or anything that's just a little bit gets your adrenaline going, I guess. I've calmed down a lot in my wisdom, but
we have to.
I still, my body's older. I look and act a lot younger than I am, but I'm still got an old older body. So it's like, I got to be kind to it sometimes.
Right. I know.
Respect its
Exactly.
limits. I work with all 20-year-olds, so I want to always push. Like, I'm going to be faster than you and I'm twice as old as you, like that's just where my brain is.
That's
But yeah, I
awesome.
have to tell myself to calm down sometimes.
I just don't understand why we can't see the chat. That's such a
I
bummer.
know. We
There's
might be able to
22
see it
people there.
afterwards. But I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, it's really strange. Remember to guard. I get the welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. So I don't know what's up with that.
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I just got a text from one of my friends at Paige. She usually watches the show, and she can watch, but they can't comment, so we're not going to see any comments.
All right. Well, this is a good opportunity.
Okay. You and I should we should try and do an Instagram live, but through your next time we'll just do a impromptu. I'm very good at impromptu. Like if it's like the day before, obviously I'm like, hey, you want to go wing it with me? Sure, let's do it.
Okay, great. Awesome. Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
then
great.
We can get some chatting in there. But you know what? I feel like this was fun anyways, even if the chat can't comment. They're just like bursting to comment, I'm sure.
So I'll watch it and see if there's any comments or questions. If there's any for me that I missed, maybe you can text me and let me know.
Absolutely.
This is a question for you for Dyna-Gro or whatever.
Yeah. People, if you're still watching, please send me your DMs on Instagram at Miss Nudie Grows or comment under this video. Also, I'm going to link your social media underneath into the description or whatever. After we're done, I'll edit it. So Instagram, and if you have a YouTube or anything that you want to plug in there, you just send it to me and I'll put that in there so people can get a hold of you directly. And you're so good about responding. So if they have questions, they can directly DM you. It's hard sometimes, especially when you have a bigger following like you do. You probably get bazillions of DMs all day long.
I get a lot. I get a lot. Yeah. I get a lot of people asking me for free stuff. So I just want to I'll comment on that really quick. So I have a small allotment of testing or nutrients that I can send out to people who want to be sponsored. And so people ask me to be sponsored a lot. What I look for in somebody that wants to be sponsored is, first and foremost, do you have pictures of your grow, right? Do you have pictures of your grow, or do you just have like other stuff? I don't even know. I have people asking me and they don't even have pictures of their grow. And I'm like, do you grow? What's going on?
Excuse me? Yeah.
Make sure that you're being authentic. And even if your plants are looking terrible, put them up there and say, hey, I need some help, people. There's so many people out there that, they're just so eager to help growers or help people learn how to grow. So don't be shy about that. I look for follower count. I look for post count. And I look for, positivity. It helps if you've already been sponsored by other companies. And you can show, I'm representing or I'm talking about their products. Just because you're sponsored, it doesn't mean that you just have to say glowing things about the products all the time. But if you're going to say anything negative about whoever is sponsoring you, make sure that you approach them first and say, hey, I was having this issue. Maybe you can help me out, and give the company an opportunity to help resolve anything before you go on and post it for the world to see, because I guarantee you, if you do that, you will get no sponsors. Not only from no Dyna-Gro, but nobody else. If you're just negative, so give us an opportunity. And I've had that happen, and it's disappointing because I make myself available even on weekends. I work for a company. This is not my company. I'm supposed to get weekends off, but sometimes I'll be like, oh, it's Saturday and somebody just posted a bunch of crap about us.
You're on it. Yeah.
And then my weekend is kind of screwed,
putting out fires.
But what are you going to do? So I have a certain amount of starter kits I can send out, and I'm down to helping people. And if anybody wants to send me some free stuff, I'm down for that too.
Yeah. What about you?
Well,
Please start reaching out. For
sometimes I'm like,
sure.
sometimes, it'd be nice to, I'm totally down for trying new products. There's stuff that Dyna-Gro does not
Yeah.
have. We don't have mycorrhiza. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I would love if mycorrhiza companies approached me and told me why their product is better than the other mycorrhiza, right? Like, why?
Let's just yell out, recharge. Get a hold of Dyna-Gro.
Recharge.
Recharge. I love recharge. I can't get that in Canada anymore. As soon as Canada went legal, I couldn't get recharge. I couldn't get Dyna-Gro. I couldn't get Dr. Zymes. Nothing came across the board.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They tightened up. That's what they did. They made it legal, but nothing in or out.
Well,
I'm
gonna.
Recharge is a really good combo of microbiology, beneficial microbes for the soil, not just mycorrhizae or however you say it. I don't ever say it properly. Mycorrhiza. Thank you. Mycorrhiza.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, okay, great. Well, I will definitely check that out and
yeah,
approach
you
them.
can get that in the States for sure. They're an awesome company. I used to shout them out constantly. I've never been sponsored by anyone, but I always shout out the stuff that's good and the stuff that doesn't work for me. And I do it in a kind way. I'm not a dick.
Well, I think that it's important. So Dyna-Gro is an incredible base nutrient. I think we can both agree, right?
Yeah.
But it gets the base nutrients done in a very minimal way. In veg, you have 2 bottles, period, right? And then in bloom, you have 3, right?
Yeah.
Now there's a little crossover there, but it's not much. I'm sorry, somebody's texting me. I'm trying to refinance my house. I know, right?
It's okay. We got real shit going on. We're just real ladies doing real shit.
Yeah. So there are amendments that you can add to this base nutrient. Don't add more nutrients though. We are giving our plants what they need when they need them. If you decide you want to add some CalMag because your buddy told you to, you're going to really have some problems because we already have calcium in our nutrients.
Yeah.
Too much calcium creates a magnesium lockout. So you're going to go, what's wrong with Dyna-Gro? I have a magnesium deficiency. Well, what have you been adding? Well, I gave it CalMag. Why? You don't need to. Okay. So I add mycorrhiza. I would love to try out recharge for sure. There's various things you can add to it. I had some caterpillar issues, a couple indoor grows or outdoor grows ago. BT is 100% organic. I gave my girls BT a couple of times, and then no caterpillars whatsoever. So definitely, I would call Dyna-Gro and ask Dyna-Gro before you start adding a bunch of things, just to see what's up. Keep in mind that this is a hydroponic setup. Hydroponic doesn't mean just in water. Hydroponic means that you are in a media that is devoid of any nutrients or supplements, period. It's starting from zero.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what you're giving them, right? So you can control what you're doing. And if you think for some reason that they need more potassium or phosphorus, okay, right now you're doing the heavy lifting of figuring out what your strains need and the differences, what they are sensitive to. I was running a strain that turned out to be male, but in veg, man, it was so sensitive to nitrogen. Those leaves were forking, pointing down, I did just on the first try, I was like, whoa, what the heck? Probably week 6 or so in veg, I flushed her. And then the next round, I made sure that I gave her a diluted feeding, so that, and watched her closely to make sure that she was okay. Turned out to be he. But my point is that, and this is so critical, strains are very, they can be, since we are dealing with the minutia of growing, right? Where every ounce counts, right? That should be a saying, every ounce counts. Right?
It's a good one. I should be writing this shit down.
Right? Yeah. So I came up with You Grow Girl. So You Grow Girl, right? But so every ounce counts. So we're dealing with just the teeniest percentages of the micros, right? We're dealing really in the micros, right? And understanding, all right, what's going on with these plants? And, are you doing tissue analysis on the leaves?
Me?
Well, are you sending it out for tissue analysis?
No, we don't do that.
So
we haven't.
You can, and by doing that, you're seeing, okay, what exactly is the plant taking up? Because the plant is going to take up what it needs, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a postmortem. What did the plant take up in what percentages? And then, okay, that's this strain. So, we know next time, we need to be more heavy on the phosphorus with this girl because she can take it, and she's just gonna, give us those harder nugs
valuable.
or whatever. Right?
I'm gonna ask about that.
Yeah. So there's also a quicker way to do it. SAP. You can test the SAP, or in this case,
is that a brick?
So SAP testing, which is quicker. So leaf tissue analysis will give you information 3 weeks prior. So you're going to see, you won't be seeing what the girls are taking up the day that you take the leaf tissue analysis. You're going to be seeing stuff from a few weeks before, right? So just keep that in mind, but there's quicker analysis. And I want to say, I remember seeing a conference, watching a guy talk about it, and it was SAP analysis, and it's immediate. You can see what the deficiencies are now. And so you can immediately start giving them.
Brix, it's BRIX test. Is that the same thing?
I'm not sure.
I feel like that's a SAP analysis. I've never done it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, I'll look through my notes. This was at a conference I went to a couple of years ago where I was just fascinated.
It's very fascinating, but
being able to do that. Understanding that we have so many varieties now, right? And then people throw around a lot of language like landrace. Oh, that's a landrace. That's a landrace. Well, what does that mean? Oh, it's OG. It's original. Well, actually, landrace means that this was grown in this exact geolocation in Afghanistan, and that is the type of environment that it's going to respond to the best, that it's going to grow the best in. That's what that means. Doesn't mean OG. It just means, okay, this was grown in Africa, so that climate is going to be best for this strain, right?
Yeah.
So really understanding what the plant needs, where it is, what its lineage is. And right now there are thousands and thousands of strains that people are coming up with, and it's fun, but it's super confusing.
Yeah. It's very
confused all the time.
There's a strain for everything.
I know.
And there's so many people breeding shit with different things and doing different things, and there's masterpieces, and then there's a lot of crap.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's getting harder to sift through it. That's why I stick to the main kind of older seed banks or older genetics, just because I trust them more.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever done any genetics yourself?
Not yet, but I had this like maniac male plant this last summer. I grew outside as well, and in my garden, one turned out to be like, all the boys were in my yard for this thing. Like, I knew it was special when I posted a picture of it, and I had more comments from dudes than any post I've ever put up. So I saved some of that pollen, and it happens to be a plant that I grew out of seeds that were brought to me from Mexico, like literally just in somebody's weed. So it's like, it can be my own strain because it's bag seed.
Wow. Oh so
yes, we have a project coming.
Oh,
but I need the space. Yeah. So it's cool. I have a really cool male plant. I have lots of mothers, and I have lots of plants that are beautiful and that I love, but nothing that's like, I'm going to cross this,
Wow.
So I'm looking for my unicorn mother.
Wow. That's so exciting. Yay.
I have more of those Mexican weed seeds to plant this summer. So maybe I'll find the mother, and it'll just be like a Mexican cross.
Wow. That's so cool. As a marketing person, I get really excited about the naming part of it all, and just coming up with cool names, and things like that. And
Yeah.
there's so many creative people out there who are just coming up with the craziest names for their plants and things.
I know. I have
The
some written
coolest,
down too.
to date, I think the strain that made the biggest impression on me actually was given to me by some Canadians, by Canna, the nutrient company. Those guys, they had this strain called Where's My Bike? And it was a cross between like biker haze and amnesia. I just thought that was the most
Where's
hilarious
my
name. Where's
bike?
my bike?
That is so funny. Yeah, there's
I
some pretty
know.
good ones.
And that weed made me laugh so much. It was great. Loved
Where's
it.
my bike? Yeah,
Where's my
perfect.
bike?
Yeah, you just wait till I start pumping out seeds
I
and
love it.
names. Everyone's going to
Yeah.
want them just for the packaging and the names, I'm sure.
Right. All right.
Okay, I think this is a pretty good hour and a half.
Oh, well, that went by quick.
Nice job. Yeah, nice job. I appreciate you coming on sort of, I guess, last minute. I'm sort of in and out. I know you're a busy lady too, so we did it.
I'm never too busy to be on a live with anybody. I think that it's important that people get this information. I used to go to trade shows all the time and spew this information all day. Now I don't. And
I know this is the way.
I can, if you know, my goal is to get the word out. You know, more and more people are growing right now, and education is key, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And getting information from a bunch of different sources is really important so that you can get it going in your brain, you know?
Yes, absolutely. There's 150,000 different ways to grow marijuana. So
yeah,
find your own way is always my advice. Do everything.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty, girl. Well, thank you.
Yay. Okay. Well, it was so nice. And as soon as I click this end, it's going to end everything. So that's just how it works. I'll come and find you in the IG, and then I'll get your information so that I can stick it in the description.
Perfect. Thank you,
All
girl.
right, Cheap Homegrown Nation. Bye. Thank you for bearing with us. See you next time.
Okay.
Mwah.